दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ इह चेदवेदीत् अथ सत्यमस्ति न चेदिह वेदीन् महती विनष्टिः भूतेषु भूतेषु विचित्य धीराः प्रेत्यास्मान् लोकादमृता भवन्ति। So this is a mantra we are seeing now. So Upanishad says here, that the opportunity to gain this knowledge is very, very rare. So, in Vivek Chudamani also, in the third mantra, it has been told, Durlabham trayam evaitat devanugrah haitukam manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshrayah. So, basically, this, the gaining the opportunity, first opportunity comes once. That's all we saw also. And the very first opportunity is manushyatvam. So to be a human being, to get a birth of a human being itself is a very, very rare. So definitely, because all of us have so much of sanchita karmas, basically, and from these karmas, these all karmas are fit for any kind of birth. Starting from crab to anything, frog or anything. Anyway, so every one of us has got infinite sanchita karmas, and they are fit for giving any type of a janma. And according to Shastra also, we know 84 lakhs species are there. Not 84 lakhs janmas. 84 lakh species are there. Well, if there are 84 lakh jivas, then we will not have to worry. But already this earth has 600 crores or what it may be, I don't know. So definitely 84 lakh species are there. You can understand even in that one species called frog, there are 100 varieties. Even a tree is one species, in that there are several subspecies. And in that also there are several subspecies. And in that also there are several subspecies. So many species are there. And so definitely any jiva can be born as any one of these 84 lakh species. I don't think 84 lakhs, it would be much more. If you count, if you count the subspecies and everything, it would be very much. But anyway, so because Shastra says, so we take that way. And of that, human being is the only one of the species, and therefore what are the chances of getting human birth? 1 in 84 lakhs. And so this is just a very, very rare. To get a human birth is very rare. So, and we must have, even if we take another, other all births, but definitely still, you know, you to all these births etc. also responsive. I mean, they are there because we have did karma as a human being. So we might have got human birth before, and in all those human births we have wasted the life is also proved, because right now we are sitting. Right now we are sitting. Otherwise we would not have born. If we would have really utilized it for gaining self-knowledge, those births in which we have accumulated so much of sanchita, which are responsible for giving any kind of a birth, and we must have got so many births, because we have samskaras of everything. We have samskaras of every birth. And we can see that even a child born to a monkey, he has not to be taught, he has not to be put into any training school. He knows what is to be done as a monkey. Well, definitely. Therefore, it shows that we must have gone through several births several times. And karma is a responsible factor for janma and vasanas. So we must have got, even in the human form, we must have done a lot of karmas, because that's the only life where we can do karma. And so those, we have wasted those human births. What I am saying is, we have wasted already those human births. And therefore, we did not utilize it properly. And well, definitely, so this is first thing. Manushyatvam, to be born as a human being is a rare thing. And to be born in a Vedic culture is another rare thing. Well, this moksha concept is there. If you are born in some Romania and whatnot, I don't know. But somewhere in Brazil, in some corner of Brazil, or somewhere in Poland, where we just, Norway, or I mean, such a thing, name Veda itself is not available there. Where is the question of moksha, etc.? And so, well, there may be other cultures where moksha concept is not there, and even if it is there, it is all funny. And therefore, the real moksha concept is there only in the Vedic culture. And so, to be born in this culture where you and me can talk about Atma and talk about Bhagavan and talk about moksha, etc., is something unique. And therefore, and we not only, so we have, as a human being, we have Chaturveda Purushartha and well, all these 4 Purusharthas. That itself is a rare thing, and we are known to this, and so because of the culture. So, and even after knowing that there are 4 Purusharthas, in being born in the culture, Vedic culture, and then from that to have an interest in the 4th Purushartha called moksha is another rare. What I am saying is, I am just talking about Manushyatvam. Right? To be born as a human being is a rare. To be born in the Vedic culture is even rarer. And to have a born in a Vedic culture and still you can waste whole your life. Even after knowing person, in our culture, the children also know the word called moksha as such. Know the word Atma. They may not be knowing what is moksha, etc. But this is around when they are born and they are brought up. They have heard this word. Bhagavan and Atma and all, etc., and moksha, etc. Well, anyway, so to have an interest even in this moksha, etc., also is a very rare thing. So that is how Shankaracharya says, Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam. Manushyatvam is rare, Mumukshutvam is rarer. So that's how we have to say. And so very intense desire for moksha is still rare. And even after mumukshutvam comes, well, many people do not know that moksha is just a revised understanding of myself. Nobody knows. Well, so moksha is just I have to correct my understanding. Moksha means a correct understanding of myself. And I correct that understanding through Shastra. I correct that understanding through the teacher who teaches that Shastra, which in turn will correct my understanding. Well, all this thing is still rarer. And therefore, Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. This Mahapurusha Samshraya means Guru Samshraya. To have an association with the teacher. Not for the sake of saying hi, hello and have some fun. Well, definitely for this purpose. That even if you are having a desire for moksha, there are thousands and thousands of people who have a desire for moksha. But they are just roaming around. If you come to Rishikesh and you will find even in the, even from the foreign countries, other countries, even from America or other countries, they go there and become hippies like thing. Lot of beard will be there and hair will, and take a guitar and sit on the bank of Ganges and play. And this is how they waste the life. They have come down by by reading some book on this liberation, etc., and they just have some kind of a funny notion and they come down there. So well, basically, so Mahapurusha Samshaya means definitely having a teacher to have a clear understanding that moksha is only through the, I have a wrong understanding about myself. That's a misconception is due to ajnanam, and therefore I have to correct my understanding through knowledge. Knowledge is the means of knowledge is Shastra for this, and well, that Shastra also has to be taught by the teacher, and therefore have a Mahapurusha Samshaya is still rarer than this. Definitely. So many people want moksha, of course, but then they do not want this Shastra. They have lots of aversion for study. They want moksha, but the moment we say level you have to study, etc., attend class, etc., they feel aversion. They say all these things are not required at all for moksha. So well, sarva manushyatvam, mumukshutvam, even if both the things are there, still rarer thing is to have a clarity that jnanam alone can give moksha. Moksha is nothing but the correction of my understanding of the self. That is even rarer than that. So that is how we, these are all opportunity. And yesterday I told you, Puja Swamiji says is opportunity knocks at your door just once. So Manushyatvam is just once. Just once means you can understand when the next birth will come, we don't know. And then Mumukshutvam is still rarer. That's also an opportunity. And Mahapurusha Samshaya also is opportunity. Sometime in your surrounding itself, somewhere very near, maybe classes etc. are going on. You may pass through that. You may go inside the class also. You may sit for some time and then come out and decide for not coming again. So, and that is how it is. So this is all very rare thing. And that is what has been shown here. Iha cheda vedi. Well, iha. Chet means if. If one were come to know here, this is a conditional mood. Avedit is a conditional mood. Like we have potential mood, imperative mood, it's like this is a conditional mood. Show the condition. If you come to know in this, iha means in asmin janmani, asmin manushya janmani. So well, if you come to know in this human life, well, then everything is truth for you, etc., etc. The purpose is served. We will see that. So, and so this is how this basically human birth, etc., is very rare. And somebody yesterday told me a very good point that basically, Swamiji, you told that once you come to the human birth and start attending classes, then he gets another human birth. Next birth will be human birth, that is for sure. That's what you are telling. So why should we worry? That's correct. That's correct. What we are saying is that one initiates the study, that is enough. For people who are not initiating study and doing something else, wasting the life, for them we are saying this. For them, to make them basically aware of what you can do, what's the potential here in this human life, we are telling them. But otherwise, Bhagavan has told in Bhagavad Gita very clearly in the 6th chapter, the 5 verses, I think 40 to 45 or something, in which Arjuna asked that, suppose if I don't understand all these things in this life, and even if I try all this, doing Shravanam, Mananam, etc., and still I may not be able to, make up. I won't get moksha. Then what will be my lot? Then Bhagavan said, well, don't worry at all, etc., etc. You definitely, because you have studied the scriptures, and so definitely prapya punya kritan lokan ushitva shashvati samaha. And then prapya punya kritan lokan, you will definitely get heaven, etc., because you have studied scriptures, etc., or listen to the scriptures, which is a great punyam. And then definitely ushitva shashvati samaha, you will live there for a long time. and then definitely you come back here, but I will give you a birth, human birth of course, but I will give you a human birth in which you will continue your homework, and therefore you will, whatever homework you are doing in this life will not go to waste. But you don't waste this life. That's for that purpose we are telling. Don't waste any moment here. Every moment is precious. So don't tell some guest come then, for don't tell my Swami has told me that I should not waste time, so don't come to my place. Don't tell that. That what I'm saying is utilize every moment, either a life of karma yoga, either a life of study, etc. Whatever. Utilize every moment. Human birth is very, very rare. That's what we want to show. So, tatratam buddhi sanyogam labate paurvadehikam, Bhagavan said in 6th chapter in 43rd verse. Tatratam buddhi sanyogam labate paurvadehikam. What you have done in a purvadeha, what you have already done, well, I will connect it in the next life. So, don't worry, nothing goes waste, etc. So, definitely, Bhagavan is giving a guarantee and we have to believe that. But if we don't really know, try to know it. At least the loss is infinite, because I am infinite, and if I don't know it, the loss will be infinite. I am Brahman basically, and so if I don't know, the loss will be also infinite. Now, iha ched avedi atha satyam asti. So if you gain this knowledge in human birth, well, the human birth is valid. Atha satyam asti, human birth becomes valid, because Bhagavan has given this human birth primarily for the spiritual knowledge. Yesterday only I told you, well, this is the only sharira where you can either do lots of punyas and papams, you can have a earning, and you can attain arthakama and dharma. Arthakama will be what? You will put it here. That those gains of arthakama will remain here. You will go. That's what it is. Dharma only will follow you. Dharma comes along with you. That is the universal currency. That will come. Even if you go to other lokas, that is the only currency come to your life. And therefore, even in the three purusharthas, arthakama and dharma is better. But between dharma and moksha also, moksha is better. And therefore, definitely, the human sharira is meant for either dharma or for moksha. But definitely, I will utilize it for moksha. You can utilize for many things, but primarily it is meant for gaining moksha, because that's the only, human birth is only birth where you are self-conscious, 100% self-conscious. The Brahman or Paramatma is revealed in the buddhi totally. You are the Brahman is revealed all the time automatically. You have to know that you are Brahman. Brahman is revealed as an I, very intimate, very intimate. I is the only intimate thing. And Brahman is revealed as I in the buddhi, totally, without any kind of inhibitions. So, Swami Puja Swamiji calls it 100% self-conscious. So, you are totally self-conscious. And therefore, understand that self, correct that understanding of that self, not as a jiva, not as a samsari, not as a karta bhokta, not as a one who is having a birth and death, etc. Basically, I am free from all this, I am Brahman. So, you correct your understanding, you revise your understanding. That's the only purpose of human life. Well, that's what it says. Satyam means here validity. So basically, human birth is valid when you gain, when you pursue the moksha through this birth. Otherwise, it's not worth. And every other thing is possible in in all other lives. Raising a family. People all the time talk about this. That's a one argument all the time. All even sadhakas do. Anytime if you say, please, I have spent some time with the scripture, with classes, etc. We have to raise our family. What a big deal. Raising a family is not a big deal. Others are doing much better. All animals are raising the family much better than a human being. Really. There is no notorious cow and no notorious animal. They raise so nicely. And human being the parenting is done in such a way that the person basically, ultimately what happens is parents have to make their children independent of themselves. That is a real parenting. But they are not able to all the time make the children dependent upon them. All the time keep advising and advising and advising. Even at he's a 40-year-old or 45-year-old son, daughter, keep advising and advising. Even they don't like sometimes. They just don't like, really. They say, you do your business. You have a class or not? What is the time now? It's 9:45. Sit in the class. Go and sit in the class. So this is the human being does. Within no time you will find any living being makes independent its children. First, initially they will provide everything, security, everything. Later they become independent. Human being is one, all the time they have that emotional demand that all the time children should ask them. Why should they ask you? For what? Of course, when they are small it is okay. When they are grown up, if they don't ask you for a single decision, these parents feel so bad. They complain to Swami also. They are not asking us. Now he has got married and so he feels that he is very independent. He should be independent. So raising a family, etc., that somehow is an excuse our even own sadhakas are doing. That wasting time. It is just a waste of time, really speaking. To an extent, once you give them education on maximum, of course in this society I could not talk about that you should have a responsibility of getting them married also. Really, here everyone is independent that way. Seems. Even if you tell them that you should marry at so-and-so with the so-and-so boy or girl, well, they say we won't. That's possible. But you can give them education, your duty is over. That's enough. And give them nourishment, etc. during their... Anyway, so human birth is only valid. This is just by the way. You people are basically free from all this, but human birth is valid only when the knowledge is gained. So, atha satyam asti, it becomes valid. Now, something else in this we would like to tell is, atha satyam asti means, iha ched avedit atha satyam asti. If I were to know in this life, then there is truth in my life. Till then, what then? Till then, if I don't know, it's all dream. It's all dream. Everything is false. Everything is false. In a dream, what you do, what you get rid of, and your own perception in a dream and the dream world, everything is false. Exactly here. If you know that you are Brahman, then everything is Brahman. That's a reality. If you don't know it, means you are living in a dream world. And therefore, if I don't know, I go through the motion of a dream living. And I go after things that is not true. I get rid of things that I do not have to do at all. And so pursuit itself, whole pursuit is false. Every pursuit is a false pursuit. If I don't know this, any pursuit, including even dharma pursuit, every pursuit is false. Because the one who goes about doing things that itself is falsified. Once you know, you realize that you are not even a karta. Where is the question of other purushartha? You are not even a bhokta. You are not an agent of an action. You are not an experiencer basically. That's not your reality. And so you consider that way and you pursue so many things in this world. The very perception about yourself is you are in dreaming, basically. So until the dreamer wakes up, the whole problem is an imagined one. And so one pursuits to solve them are also equally false. So when the truth about myself is missed, everything becomes as good as lost. So that is how it says, atha satyam asti. Once you know that you are Brahman, well, then you are living a life. Puja Swami used to tell that the goal of a human being is to live. And to live means to be alive to the realities of the life. And therefore you should know what is reality. What is real you should know. And this is your reality, that you are not a karta, you are not a bhokta. And therefore definitely you don't have any purushartha. No purusharthas are there. This artha, kama and all that. The very pursuit of artha, that I am insecure, is a false purushartha. Your vision also is false. And basically I am the one who is a beggar of happiness, and therefore every morning I take a begging bowl and move around in the world. and take maximum from the world and bring to the home, and feel that I'm a happy person for few seconds. Again, he is the same miserable fellow. And so whole his understanding about himself is false, and his ragadveshas are false. His likings and dislikings, that is whole is an imagined world. There is nothing, no object called an object of like universally. There is no object which is called object of dislike universally. But everything keeps on doing. So he remains in absence of the understanding of one's own nature. He lives in a dream world. Dream world, basically. That's how very beautifully told in Sthitaprajna section, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyam Jagarti Sanyami. Where everyone is sleeping, this fellow is awake. Our Jnani is awake. This is the reality. He is awake to the reality. That's all it is. This is your reality. But how can you say that is a reality? Hey, that is what you want. You are born for that. You are born with the desire to know this reality. You are born with the desire to become free. And to be free is your reality. You are free. That's the reality. You are free is a reality. You are bound is not a reality. Considering yourself as a bound and doing several things and in the world and wasting the life is of no use. So atha satyam asti. Iha ched avedit atha satyam asti. So if I were to know, then there is truth in anything that I do or not do in life. That's how it is. So what satyam means, which is definitely what is gained by this knowledge, is a nitya vastu. Otherwise, if one acquires a lot of punya in this life, one gets a result of swarga, which is definitely time bound. And anything which is time bound, your heart will not settle with that. Anything which is time bound, well, your heart will not settle with that. You may pursue it considering it as that it is not time bound. But basically you don't want anything time bound. You don't want security time bound. You don't want happiness time bound. If I tell you I will make you happy today, but tomorrow I am not giving you any guarantee. Perhaps I feel that tomorrow your day will not be a good day. You say I don't want that. You will say that. You want to be happy today, tomorrow and day after tomorrow. You want to be happy at in every place, at every time. And you want to be happy in association with everyone. It's not that, okay, I would be happy in ashram, and if I go out of the ashram, I would not be happy. Will it be okay, Swamiji? No. I would be happy. I want to be happy everywhere. So basically, this is what you want, and in association with everyone, you want to be happy. So you don't want anything time bound. Neither security, neither happiness, nothing. So you are seeking something timeless. You are seeking something which is timeless and not knowing that you are timeless. That's your reality. You don't know it. Means you are living a life of imagination. You are living a dream life. That's what it is. This is what it means by atha satyam asti. Satyam means you will be awake to the reality. Anyway, so if one were to know that this, well, definitely that this Atma is Brahman, that is timeless, this is the result of moksha, the freedom that you are seeking in life, well, you can gain it. So, and ihachet is a very significant here. Iha means in this human life. Iha means in this life. And the human body is, of course, adhikari shariram. And well, definitely no other living being has the choice of knowing oneself. Only a human being can be enlightened. And he can be, known. Can be told that you are like this, and he can understand. He can revise the understanding. No living being can revise the understanding. But Swamiji, it may be so that they are born with that enlightened self. Why should enlightened self be born? For what? For what should be born? And you can understand that they have a dehatma buddhi. They know that the physical body is atma. That's how they behave. If you go with the grass, the cow will come near. Then Brahma Sutra very beautifully discussed. This Adhyas Bhashyam, there Bhashyakara proves the Adhyasam logically. It's a marvel. Adhyas Bhashyam is a marvel in this entire Vedanta Shastra. And he proves that every living being has Adhyasa. That you know that I am the body. How will you know? You go with the grass, the cow will come near. Means what? What does it indicate? As an Atma, it is coming near to you to eat grass? Or he says that, well, this is very conducive for me as a cow. This is a conducive for me to take the grass. And you take a stick, it wants to run away. Why? Atma wants to run away? That he considers body as a self, and that's how he wants to run away. Consider the body as a self. So Vashyakara proves very beautifully that even if you can't take an interview of any other living being, that whether you have adhyasa or not, whether you consider yourself as a cow or not, but from their vyavara, you can understand very well. Naisargikoyam loka vyavara hai. Naisargika hai. So because ajnanam is anadi, and therefore adhyasa also is anadi. Considering body as a self is anadi for all the living beings. Then iha chet, iha, asmin janmani, you are the one who can be told that you are not body. No other living being has the facility. That iha word is very, very important. Chet means if. If you know in this body, well, atha satyam asti. Therefore, then that is valid. You have utilized the human body for that purpose. That's a real usage you have done, because that's a moksha sharira, adhikari shariram. Human body is a moksha sharira. So the word mukshu means in a desire to be free, well, indicates the presence of course, a choice, and one has to deliberately choose this moksha. And it looks as though, one also has to choose moksha like any other choice one makes. But as one grows in one's capacity and for the discrimination, viveka, etc., choice becomes less and less. Pujya Swamiji always calls like that. If you know more, your choices will not increase. If you know more, your choices become less and less. And so if you know more means if you really do a discrimination, then you will find that there is only one Purushartha in my life, and that is moksha. What my heart is seeking, which is something which is permanent, that permanent thing cannot be gained. Anything which is gained is always impermanent. Anything which can be gained is always impermanent. It comes in time, goes in time. That's what it is. That's called gain. And therefore there is only one gain, and that is a gain of oneself. Yesterday I talked about this gain. Well, that is the only gain. A gain in form of oneself. And gain in form of oneself means here knowing oneself that one is permanent. One is basically nitya. One has to know that I am free from, I am the one who is limitless and in the form of, or fullness, and I am the one who is secure, who is timeless. Anything which is time bound is insecure, and I am timeless, and therefore security is something which is not to be gained in the life. It is to be known that I am secure. Happiness is not something something to be gained in the life. Well, definitely happiness is something to be known, because I don't want happiness which comes and goes. That's what the struggle of a human being is. That he gains some happiness and therefore it loses. Then again he strives. Well, so he basically wants a happiness which is timeless, which is all the time there, and you are there with you all the time. Other than you will not be there with you all the time. So you are the one who will be there with you all the time. And so it's a Brahman that is what you are seeking in life. Freedom you are seeking in life, or this fullness you are seeking in life, comfort you are seeking in life, that is comfortable with you. If you know yourself that, well, you are limitless. So basically, moksha is a choiceless choice. Moksha is a choiceless choice. There is no choice. If you know more and more, if you do Purushartha Viveka, you will find that moksha is a choiceless choice. I don't have any choice, because there are no other Purusharthas. So, a mere desire for freedom, of course, moksha is not enough. It has to be converted into desire for knowing also. As I told you, many people want moksha. Many people want freedom from all these sorrows and pain, suffering, etc. But they don't know how to get it. and they have aversion towards the study, etc. But there is no other way. Only through the knowledge only. You should know that you are basically free. And every philosophy is talking about moksha, which is nitya. How to gain, they don't know. But they always, everyone talks about moksha, which is permanent. No one wants, but impermanent moksha you are getting every day. Every day you are getting. Why should you study for that matter? You are free, you become free. In a deep sleep state, you are become free from the suffering. And in a waking state also, Bhagavan gives you some moments of joy, etc., where you are free, basically, for temporary. When somebody, tells you a joke, and you become so happy and laugh, for that, for a few moments, you become free from the suffering. So that is impermanent, but so basically no one is interested in impermanent moksha. No philosophy caters that the moksha which is impermanent. Everyone talks about moksha that is permanent. We should know this. That's one part of the philosophy. Well, they have to talk about moksha. And then moksha sadhanam. And what is a type of bandhanam? Bondage also they will have to talk. Who is a jiva? Who is a Ishvara? Etc. etc. So these are all the parts of philosophy they have to talk. And they all talk about moksha, which is nitya, permanent. But they don't know that what is permanent cannot be gained. Anything can be gained which is impermanent. And it should be other than you. It should be other than you. Other than you, well, that you only thing you can gain or lose. You cannot lose yourself. You cannot gain yourself. And therefore, if you want something which is permanent, definitely it should be in the form of self. But then I don't feel that I am a happy person and I am this and that. You analyze your own experiences. Where does the security and happiness or fullness comes in your deep sleep state? How do you become free from suffering in a deep sleep state without your effort? How it is possible? Unless you basically are free from the suffering, etc. And you are enjoying deep sleep state without enjoying any kind of sense objects. Anyway, so we have done this kind of analysis in Tattvabodha a lot. So then, definitely, choiceless choice, moksha. And that moksha also, so desire for moksha, desire for freedom, will convert into a desire for knowledge. And then there is a possibility of knowing. And then a possible question is basically answered here that even if I may gain Brahman, but there may be something else which also I have to gain after knowing Brahman as oneself. No. Why? It's a simple mathematical formula. There is no Brahman plus. If you gain Brahman in form of yourself, then what is left over? After limitless, what you can add in limitless? There are people, our own champions are there. They feel that after knowledge, I have heard in 10 years several times. After Swamiji, all this is okay. This is all intellectual knowledge. They say, they like that. Intellectual knowledge. What is that intellectual knowledge? Dental knowledge. And Pujya Swamiji calls it dental knowledge and then mental knowledge. Said intellectual knowledge. This is all intellectual. We have to do something. Some practice. Then you have not understood what you are. Or you have not understood what Brahman is. What Brahman is also is not understood. Limitless thing can never be gained. And if it is gained, it will be in the form of understanding. And once you understand, that's complete. That's enough. You say I am limitless, it's over. There is no limitless plus. No practice. Nothing is to be gained. Nothing is to be practiced. All this practice, business, etc. only for the people who are not ready to assimilate that. Whose minds are not ready to assimilate knowledge. For them, this is a problem of practice, etc. Once you are ready, and then this knowledge works like a fire. It will give you understanding that I am Brahman. That's all. I am everything. Where is the question of doing something afterwards? I am everything. What I want in my life, everything is me. Anyway, so there is no Brahman plus. So Shruti says that, now Shruti makes it clear very beautifully. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha pretya sman lokad amrutaha bhavanti. What I said in this, whatever the minutes, half an hour, whatever I told you, please ponder over again and again. It is not that simple that, oh, we have understood now what is moksha and what is Brahman and etc. Well, and here it has been further clarified. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya vivekam krutva dhiraha pretya asman lokad amrutaha bhavanti. The wise people, dhiraha, wise people, become immortal. Amritaha bhavanti, become immortal after knowing the self in all the beings. This is a sentence. It's like we have to write a sentence and we have to use the verb. So don't think that way, that the wise people, they will know Brahman and then something will happen and they will become immortal. Like a mango which has been, you take it out from the mango tree and keep it for some time and slowly it gets ripe and starts giving fragrant and good taste and everything. Same way, the person must be knowing Brahman and then slowly he becomes immortal. It's not that. You are immortal, that is what you should know. That's what your understanding should be. The revised understanding is that you are immortal. Yeah. Something which is mortal you don't claim. Something which is mortal, don't claim as yourself. That's what it means. But if they are there, then I will claim. If they are there, then why should not I claim? But if they are not there, sir, they are just projections. This body, mind, sense complex are projections. You are the reality, you are Satyam, Brahma. And therefore don't claim that. If you claim yourself, all this deha, etc., you will call yourself as a mortal being. That's a notion. Drop that notion. Drop that notion, you are immortal. That's what it is. And therefore you are immortal means you are moksha sarupa. Moksha is not something to be gained. Moksha is a understanding that you are free. That's moksha. And therefore amrutaha bhavanti, that we have to use it, that kind of a verb. But don't think that they become immortal. They become. Anything becoming is not immortal. Anything which becomes is mortal. Anything which becomes mortal. Anything. To becoming itself is a mortality. Becoming is time bound. Any becoming is a time bound. Any time bound is mortality. Anyway, so the wise person become immortal after knowing the self in all the beings. Bhuteshu, bhuteshu. Now we'll take this meaning of bhuta. What is the meaning of bhuta here? There are two possible meanings. Different meanings are there. First, let's take this bhuta is a living being. So bhuteshu means in all the living beings on this earth. So the living beings on the earth are four types. And the first is a udbija. Udbija means that which is born from the earth straight away, like the entire vegetation, trees, etc. That's called udbija. They are one type of living beings. Second type of living beings is andajaha, and that which is born of an egg. And all the reptiles and birds and all, they are all born of eggs. Third is a jarayuja, which is born of the jara. Jara means here womb. Like our mammals and human beings, so including human beings, all they are born of, ultimately, they are jarayuja. And svedaja. Sweda means basically, as such, where they call perspiration, etc. But svedaja basically, which is born of certain conducive atmosphere in terms of humidity, temperature, etc. So like microbes, microorganisms and all, and definitely, they are all born of, they are called svedajas. So these are the living beings. Bhuteshu vichitya. So wise people become immortal by knowing the self. He says that this myself, I, is present in all these living beings. So basically, that's a very big thing. I am a conscious being, you are another conscious being, he is a third conscious being, she is a fourth conscious being. No. I am the Atma who is Atma for all. Means there is only one Atma? There is only one Atma? There is no second Atma? No, there is no second Atma. Prove it. I will prove it later. But this is what first we'll see this. What is the understanding of this? A wise person. Bhuteshu vivekam krutva. So in all the living beings, well, he knows himself as a self. He knows the self as the self of all. That's what it means. That's what the first meaning. This is Brahmajnana. Then the second meaning of the bhuta is our 5 elements. They also Pancha Mahabhutas, etc. Space, air, fire, water and earth. So elements accounts for all the elementals also, because they are born of elements. And so one's own sthula sharira, physical body, and even the subtle body are also made up of 5 elements, subtle and gross. So, well, definitely. So body of any living being, of course, is also called bhuta here. So bhuteshu means in all the elements and elementals. And bhuteshu, it is repeated. Word is repeated. Means no being is left over. No elemental is left over. And therefore, no being or thing is left over. And so first bhuta means a living being. Second time we have said bhuta means anything. Anything which is born of element, you can take. So even this is called bhuta. And this is also called bhuta. Swami's Sharira also is called bhuta because I am a living being. And this is also called bhuta, either of the meaning. So he knows the self of this also. He says, I am a self of this. And I am a self of this Swami also. That's what a wise person can say. Could you follow what I am saying? So bhuteshu. So knowing the self, well, definitely, Atmanam Vichitya. So repetition of word bhuta I have already told you. So in all of them, Atmanam Vichitya, Atmanam Vivekam Krutva, knowing the self. So definitely he knows this, he has this vision that the self I am the one who is self of all. So if the self has to be recognized in another being, well, naturally it cannot be confined to one's body, right? And therefore if you can say, well, that I am a human being, if you say, and I am a conscious being, but you know that consciousness pervades your body. You will find that consciousness pervades to your body. Consciousness pervades to somebody else's body. But you don't have that understanding that this consciousness pervades this body, that consciousness alone pervades all the bodies. That understanding is not there. So, if this person, wise person says that I am the self of all, means I am the consciousness, invariable consciousness which pervades or which is Satyam Brahma, pervades all the bodies. That is what his understanding is. Therefore, it means the self should be non-dual, naturally. Because the conscious being, if I say I am a one conscious being, you are second, you are third, means the self are many. The selves are many, we have to say that. Anyway, but then definitely conscious beings are many. If conscious beings are many, there will be duality in conscious being. And therefore, definitely, then in that case, consciousness cannot be non-dual. But if you say, I am the consciousness which pervades all the living beings, all the conscious beings, then the self must be non-dual. And not only living beings. You say, I pervade this also. Well, then therefore, one non-dual self pervades all living, non-living, everything. That's how, this is his understanding. In that understanding, he can say, I am limitless. And therefore, well, so all that is there is one Atma, that is Satyam Brahma, etc. Well, he has that kind of understanding. We will have to establish that little, that we'll do little later. So this is setup. So let's take it, you take it from that our Karya Karana Prakriya, you will understand this. Like from that Satyam Brahma alone, everything comes out, all the elements come out, and when they become manifest, and they are non-separate from Brahman. And then all elementals born of the elements, they are also non-separate from Brahman. And well, definitely, and therefore, entire prapancha, entire world which is elemental, well, definitely all born of elements, elements born of Brahman. So what is born of Brahman is non-separate from Brahman, and therefore elements are non-separate from Brahman. Elementals which are born of elements, well, they are non-separate from Brahman, definitely. And therefore, ultimately, entire prapancha is non-separate from Brahman. That's how Brahman pervades everything. Now, partially, a pratibodham has come. Partially. From the back door it has come. From back door. If I tell you that pratibodham is coming again, then you will put like this your head, and then otherwise. So, this is, but here we are going to see one more facet, that there is no more than one consciousness. No one can prove. No one can prove. And therefore consciousness or Atma is non-dual. And therefore one Atma pervades everything. He may be a living being or a non-living being. We'll have to see that. So it's a little different material you have, don't worry. So we will not, but Swamiji, you started with this Brahma Jagat Karanam and all. But yeah, we have started that ultimately to show everything is possible, that everything is Satyam Brahma. Satyam Brahma is the consciousness, and then therefore you, the self, pervades everything. That's how it is. So let's take an example. From cotton is born basically yarn, and from yarn is born the cloth, and from cloth is born the shirt. And therefore, well, I can say, what is the distance between shirt and the cotton? There is no distance, right? So you may say, well, from cotton the yarn is born. So yarn is non-separate from the cotton. Well, but from yarn the cloth is born. So, well, cloth is non-separate from yarn, but yarn is non-separate from cotton. Therefore, even the cloth is non-separate from the cotton. And even if you, well, from the cloth shirt is born, then shirt is non-separate from the cloth. But then ultimately shirt is non-separate from the cotton. And that is how, same way, take now Brahman, instead of a cotton, put Brahma there, which is a Karanam for all the shirts, for all the names and forms. This is how Brahman pervades everything. Entire shirt. This pervading, again I am telling you, even if though I have told you several times, again I am telling you, pervading does not mean that you take a shawl while moving around, you take a shawl and shawl pervades your body. And same way Brahman pervades every name and form. Don't think that way. It is not. There are two things. One is body, other is shawl. So don't consider that way. Pervading does not mean this. Pervade means that take even a speck of that. You will find there is a cotton. Speck of what? Speck of shirt is cotton. You won't find any other thing other than cotton. And therefore entire shirt is cotton. That is what I mean, cotton pervades shirt. Cotton pervades shirt means the reality of the shirt, the satyam of the shirt is cotton. That's what I mean. What pervades is always a material cause. That's what it is. And therefore, ultimately, and therefore definitely, I don't want to go to transcendence business right now because that's not useful here. But there is no, well, definitely. So, if the elements all born of Brahman, then all of them are Brahman. And then Brahman is equated with the Atma. Already we have done that job. Shrotrasya Shrotram, etc. Homework is on you. Shrotrasya Shrotram, Manaso Manaha, Vachoha Vacham, Pranasya Pranaha, Chakshusha Chakshuho. And take the another sentence also. Tadeva Brahmatvam Viddi, Nedam Yadidam Upasate. And therefore, definitely the Tad, which is Pratyagatma, which is Shrotrasya Shrotram, which is just a consciousness. Shrotrasya Shrotram means just consciousness. Yeah. Therefore, Chakshusha Chakshu is just consciousness. And not consciousness means this consciousness. That is you, sir. That's how here it has been told. Your organs have been told. And you said, well, you are the essence of that organ. Without you, the organ is not does not exist. Without you, organ cannot function. You are the one who prompts the organ. As though. And thereby consciousness is subject. And no one tells that I am not conscious. If someone tells I am not conscious or I am inert, for that he need to be a conscious being. And therefore consciousness lands in I. Consciousness cannot land anywhere else. Consciousness lands only in I. That consciousness is equated with Brahman, which is Satyam. Satyam means which is Jagat Karan, which pervades everything. What pervades is Satyam. I have told you. Cotton pervades the shirt. Means the reality of the shirt is just cotton. Cotton is called Satyam. Same way Brahman pervades elements and elementals and everything. Then therefore the reality of the entire creation is Brahman. That Brahman is consciousness. Right? And therefore, well, you, the self, is the self of all. You, the self, is the self of all. You pervade everything. You are the reality of everything, etc., etc. Vichitya. Vichitya means knowing that Brahman. So this is where Vichitya, Vivekam Krutva, you have to do. Because you are going to identify with the physical body and subtle body and everywhere. You never say that I am Brahman or conscious being. You say I am a hearer and I am a seer and I am toucher and I am this and I am that. I am a human being. So separate. Shrotrasya shrotram, manaso manaha, vachoha vacham. You are not the mind. But I don't tell I am mind. You tell all the time without saying. You are telling without telling. So I mean, what can I do? I remain very disturbed. I remain very disturbed. So I mean, basically people call me that you are very angry. All this indicates you are mind. Without saying we say everything. Manaso manaha. See, so clear. Manaso manaha, you are not mind. You are mind of the mind. So you are the one who lends an existence to the mind. You are existence. You are consciousness. Because of you, the mind is conscious. Well, and therefore, basically, you are Pratyagatma. So think that way. That's a big homework. The bigger homework is this, that you are merely consciousness. All the time claim during waking state you are consciousness. Even if you want to do a japa, do that japa. Really, it's Nirgun Brahma Upasana. It is Nirgun Brahma Upasana. I am consciousness. I am consciousness. I am consciousness. Negate what you are not. Keep negating. Keep negating. That's what it is. You become mad, Swamiji. You never become mad. If your mind goes to some other things, you become mad. This is a reality. So claim yourself that you are just a consciousness. And then this is very simple. Without dimension, etc. And you are Brahman. Very simple to prove. That step is easier compared to this step. Atma Anatma Viveka is very, very long step. Long step. So just keep on doing that during day. That's called Nididhyasana. This is our Nididhyasana, means that I am a consciousness. If you understand what consciousness is, then it is Nididhyasana. If you don't understand what is consciousness, this is Upasana. Just repeat. It's superimposition. Well, I don't know somebody what is consciousness. But you are saying, okay, I am telling I am consciousness, I am consciousness. So do that. That Upasana will remove the obstacle. Because it is related to Ishvara basically. Consciousness is Brahman, Parmeshwara. And so even if you repeat that I am Parmeshwara, well, it will remove obstacles. Swamiji, you are bringing from your pocket all these things? No. This has been told by Swami Vidyaranya in the Panchadashi in chapter 9. What is Nirguna Brahma Upasana and why it is essential and what kind of a Nirguna Brahma Upasana, why people are not able to appreciate Brahman even after many years. They are not able to clearly tell that yes, I have got a Brahma Jnana. Moksha is not something which is to be gained in my life. I am no more a mumukshu. No one is able to tell that. Means there is some obstacle. And if I tell that, speak about Aham Brahmasmi for 5 minutes to our people, he will speak as if he is really become Brahman. He is able to tell very clearly. Aham is this and Brahman is this, and there should be Lakshana Vritti and then there should be equation. He is able to talk about Aham Brahmasmi. But when I say, well, then claim that you are Brahman. No, I won't claim. I am not Brahman. I have to gain Brahman. That Brahma Sakshatkara has to be done. Even one of our professor was like that. One of our professor was well revered even by Puja Swamiji also. If Puja Swamiji give reverence means you can understand the stature of the person. And such a person, beautiful lectures. We will be ready to listen to him. And well, after the class we say, oh, so you have so clarity in the knowledge and all. Yeah, but you know, I can tell that I'm not a realized person. So obstacle. You talk about Vedanta so clearly, talk about Atma Swarupam so clearly, and then still say, well, then claim it. No. That's obstacle. Then do Upasana. Do Upasana. Upasana is a karma which will remove the pratibandha. So that's it. That's the way. And anyway, so Vichitya, knowing that Brahman is to be oneself. So in this sentence, Atha Satyamasti, well, which is Satyam is pointed out here, and means I am not the truth of this body alone, but I am the truth of everybody. That's what Satyam means. I am the truth of everybody. I am Brahman. Brahman is Satyam, which pervades everything, which is the material cause of everything. And material cause is as though material cause. It is really not a material cause. This is a material cause which will not transform into the Jagat. Cotton remains cotton and appears in the form of shirt. The cottonness never goes away. Cotton remains cotton and appears in the form of shirt. Clay remains clay and appears in the form of a pot. That's what this kind of upadana karanam Brahman is. Brahman is just consciousness, and it appears in the form of this entire Jagat, which is inert. And therefore, definitely all the names and forms Brahman pervades. So, Atha Satyamasti means, well, this person understands. Iha ched avedit asmin sharire. In this human life, one understands this, then he says, well, I am the truth of everything. Atha Satyamasti means, I am the truth of everything. I am not truth of this body. I am not essence of this body. I am not the consciousness which is essence of this body. I am limitless consciousness, because I am Brahman. And that is Satyam Brahma, which is Jagat Karana. Therefore, I pervade everything. Bhuteshu, Bhuteshu, Vichitya. Dhiraha. Because the people who want to know, like you and me, are also called Dhiraha. People who know already after doing Viveka, etc., well, they are also called Dhiraha. They are Dhiraha. So, wise people, well, they understand this. Anyway, Asmal Lokat Pretya, etc., we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll complete that chapter 2, in which I will discuss this thing also, that there is one consciousness, there is no more than one consciousness, and therefore consciousness is non-dual, and well, then therefore definitely one Atma pervades all the beings, living beings or even other things also. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari